Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Willpower Wrestling here on YouTube. I'm going to be discussing Monday Night Raw that happened last night, emanating from Albany, New York. And this was a show that was very hit and miss, but there were some things on the show that I really did like. And instead of going in the usual chronological in-order format that I typically do, I like to just kind of go from what I liked in the show, talk about what I didn't like, kind of the good, bad, and the ugly of Monday Night Raw, but I'll still make sure to cover everything that happened in the show. So, one thing that I really liked about Raw tonight was we got to see more of Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax. They had a contract signing tonight, and basically what happened was it was your typical contract signing, but instead of them being so buddy-buddy, and Stephanie McMahon was in the ring during this, she was really trying to stir the pot, turn Nia against Ronda, and vice versa. They did have some choice words for each other throughout this segment, and it looked like they were about to get physical. There was a lot of trash talk here. Nia Jax saying she knows that she's going to beat Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey saying the same, and that she'll take Nia Jax's title, and she'll take her arm with it when she breaks it in half. So, good stuff there from Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax. And I'm looking forward to their match at Money in the Bank. I'm really hoping Ronda Rousey can pull out the victory somehow and end up winning that match. I think it will happen too. I don't see why Ronda Rousey will lose this early in her run unless Natalya turns her back on Ronda Rousey at one point or another. But I think Ronda Rousey should win the title right now. And it almost seemed like during this promo to me that Nia Jax was being a little heelish. Like maybe Nia Jax is going to go back to being a heel. I wouldn't say that her face run has been a total flop, but it hasn't been lighting the world on fire for me personally. So I wouldn't be shocked if Nia Jax goes back to being a heel so quickly. But I don't see it happening quite yet. So it was a little surprising to see her being so heelish, or just a little heelish, I should say, in this promo here with Ronda Rousey. But both women came out of this promo looking better than they did. And my dog in the background there, apologize for that. He's rowdy. He's rowdy like rowdy Ronda Rousey, I tell you what. But both of these women came out of this promo looking better than they did going into it. And I'm excited for their match at Money in the Bank. Another really good high spot to this show was the main event between Braun Strowman and Finn Balor. They teased this match earlier on in the night. They were going to have a tag team match, but that wasn't meant to be. And basically, Stephanie McMahon said, hey, why don't I put you guys against each other and give people a taste of what the Money in the Bank showdown is going to be like, since both of you guys are Money in the Bank. Finn Balor's like, yeah, let's do it. Strowman's like, yeah, let's do it. And he grabs an apple and crushes an apple. This man crushed an apple with his bare hand right in front of Finn Balor, and Finn Balor looked like he had seen a ghost at that point and knew he was in for a rough one, and he was, because Braun Strowman ended up defeating Finn Balor in this match. But this was a really fun match. It was gritty. It was like seeing Rey Mysterio against a big guy like Kane back in the day. Kind of reminded me of Shawn Michaels versus Triple H from Royal Rumble 2004, where he just had one person, in this case Braun Strowman, dominating Finn Balor throughout the majority of the match, where you're wondering, when's Finn going to make his comeback? And it seems like Finn is going to make his comeback, but then he gets knocked down again. And it looks like he's going to make his comeback, but he gets knocked down again. And that went on for a while here. Eventually, Finn did get the upper hand for a little bit when he nailed Strowman with a sling blade on the outside of the ring, while Strowman was going for those running shoulders that he's been doing on the outside of the ring lately, those running shoulder blocks. So Finn Balor got a sling blade on him there, hit a couple drop kicks on him on the outside of the ring, hit a coup de grace from the barricade on the outside of the ring, and it looked like Finn Balor maybe was going to pull off a miracle, but before he knew it, Braun Strowman hit a power slam on him, then picked up his lifeless body and hit another power slam, this time a running power slam, to pin Finn Balor. But after the match, this was the main event of Raw, by the way, and after the match, Braun Strowman, he lifts Finn Balor up in another power slam position. Looks like he's going to nail him with another one, but instead what he does is he picks Balor up and he puts him in the corner, almost as like a weird kind of sign of respect between the two of them. So really good match there. Check it out, if anything, just for the little man versus big man kind of thing that they had going on there. David versus Goliath kind of chemistry that they had, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Both these guys look good here. We also had a short teaser of something that I think could be a really fun feud. Dolph Ziggler, he faced off against Chad Gable, and this is emanated from the backstage promo that Chad Gable had with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was kicked out of his office tonight by Stephanie McMahon, so he's like hanging out in some random corridor backstage, and Chad Gable comes up to him. They talk a little bit. Angle says, "Hey Chad, I would have put you in the Money in the Bank match, but there's just no spots left." And that made me think, damn, I really wish Gable was in that Money in the Bank match. But they're talking, and throughout this promo too, I'm thinking, damn, Angle and Chad Gable, they really resemble each other quite a bit. And basically what happens is they're interrupted by Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, who talk some smack to Chad Gable and Kurt Angle. Angle makes a match between Gable and Ziggler, and that's how we got to the match. And only went about 4 minutes, but a lot of technical wrestling here. Both these guys are legit amateur wrestlers, so you saw some takedowns at the beginning. And eventually, Gable is caught up in the middle ropes. Ziggler headbutts him and nails him with a super kick to pin him in about 4 minutes. After the match, Drew McIntyre comes to the ring and hits Gable with a Claymore kick, which looked absolutely vicious. Gable, it was a simple sell the way he did it, but it looked realistic and it looked vicious as hell. So that was a fun little match there. And now let's get into the ridiculous parts of Monday Night Raw. So there were a couple that happened, and actually there were, before I get into the ridiculous stuff, there were a couple more segments on Raw that were actually pretty fun and were pretty good. So I guess you could lump that in with the opener of the show. Kurt Angle basically came out to start the night, and he was cutting a promo. He's interrupted by Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie's then interrupted by Roman Reigns, who's then interrupted by Kevin Owens. And throughout this whole promo segment, Jonathan Coachman was saying how his word for the night word for the hour is interrupt, and that's what happened a lot here. Stephanie then makes a one-on-one match between Reigns and Kevin Owens. They fight for maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and eventually they're having an okay match, and Jinder Mahal interrupts the match. He assaults Roman Reigns. It's led to a DQ. Owens and Mahal are beating down Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins comes and makes a save, and we get the ghost of Teddy Long, who makes this into a tag team match after we come back from the commercial break. Standard tag team match. Seth Rollins hits a sick looking curb stomp on Kevin Owens to get the pin. It was really cool because at first Rollins goes for the curb stomp. Owens is in position for it, but he lifts his head up just in time to avoid it. And as he does that, as he lifts his head up, he finds himself back on the mat somehow, and Rollins capitalizes and hits him with a curb stomp again. So really cool. I've never seen Rollins hit a curb stomp like that before, where he misses the first time and his opponent is back in position for the curb stomp, and Rollins just goes for it again and nails it. So fun finish. Owens taking another pin. This guy, Kevin Owens, has been pinned quite a bit since his return to Monday Night Raw. But decent tag team match there. I can't really complain. And Jinder Mahal, afterwards, he assaulted Seth and Roman Reigns, especially Roman, with a chair. And now it's official. Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. And the crowd goes mild. Yay. I'm sure that'll be a clusterfuck of a match, to say the least. Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns. I'm not really sure what exactly to expect from that match. It'll be entertaining as far as the crowd goes, that's for sure. That Chicago crowd, they're rabid, they're rowdy, and they're going to let Mahal and Reigns know exactly what they think with that match. It's also Ember Moon versus Alexa Bliss, and I like this match quite a bit, and Alexa Bliss's promo before the match was fun. She talked about how Rome wasn't, the whole reason why Rome was taken down, the greatest city that was ever built, was because the people that took it out, the Viscacots or whatever she called them, they had the element of surprise, and that's why Ember Moon defeated Alexa Bliss on Ember Moon's first match on Raw, because, Ember Moon had the element of surprise, but she doesn't have that anymore. And that proved not to be true because Ember Moon, she didn't need the Elbow in a surprise to defeat Bliss. She hit the Eclipse on Bliss after a decent match between the two of them and picked up the win. So it's interesting to see Ember Moon go over Alexa Bliss so decisively in this match. Alexa Bliss, she's a multi-time women's champion, and if anything, this match just shows me how much faith WWE has in Ember Moon as a performer, and I don't blame them because she's great. She's a whole package. She's got the entrance, she's got the look, she's got the in-ring ability to go with the best of them. So Ember Moon, I like her a lot, and good stuff from Ember Moon. Now let's get into the ridiculous of Monday Night Raw, and I can't talk about ridiculous on the show without talking about Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley. So Zayn promised to expose the real Bobby Lashley and have his three sisters come out and expose Lashley's lies. And I was wondering, what are we going to get here? Are we legitimately going to get Bobby Lashley's real sisters? Are we going to get some really bad actors like in that This Is Your Life segment? Jeez, my dog is just crazy right now. I apologize. Are we going to get some crazy This Is Your Life segment like with Bayley and Alexa Bliss last year? Terrible, something like that. And we kind of got met in the middle here. WWE, they knew how ridiculous this was. So they basically had three men dressed as Bobby Lashley's sisters, each of them with their own emblem, I guess their own prop that identifies them as his specific sister. One sister had the army helmet from her dad. The other one had the white rag. Another one had a broom. And WWE wasn't even trying to shield how bad this was. And I give them props for that. I mean, one of the men that was playing the sister, he had a mustache, for God's sake. So they're not trying to fool anyone here. They knew this was ridiculous. They knew that this was kind of bad. But instead of like with that Alexa Bliss, Bayley, This Is Your Life segment, they embraced it. And for that, it was fun. It was ridiculous, but it was fun. The sisters talked some trash about Lashley for a while. Lashley eventually came out and interrupted. He pretended that they were his sisters for a little bit, which is corny as all hell. But but that went on for a bit. Then the sisters and Sami Zayn jumped Bobby Lashley. He got the better of them all and beat them all up. So one thing I noticed throughout this whole segment, though, was that the Albany, New York crowd could not care any less about Bobby Lashley. When he made his big comeback and he was beating the crap out of the three sisters and Sami Zayn, it was a very mild reaction, very lukewarm from that audience for Bobby Lashley. So part of me feels like Bobby Lashley facing someone like Brock Lesnar, that's already off the table right now. At least what they're doing with him right now, I can't imagine him going head to head with Brock Lesnar. And that was a rumored match when Lashley was brought in. Right now I can't see that. Lashley eventually can move on to more serious things, but as long as he's still doing fun but ridiculous and kind of lower mid-card stuff like this, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how legitimate he can be taken. Another ridiculous segment that happened was the B team, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. They won another match, this time against Breezango also. It only went about 2 minutes, and they celebrated like hell after the match, and I like this. They were going crazy, doing victory laps around the ring. Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas had that same astonished look on their face, like they couldn't believe that they won. They even ran over to the announcer's table. Curtis Axel started humping the table, for lack of a better word. They stole Jonathan Coachman's chair and went down the ramp with it. Both of them were like hugging each other, both on the chair. It looked a little weird, but they both like slid down the ramp on the chair and landed on each other. They were ecstatic to have won another match. And I saw a couple, I guess WWE is selling those B team t-shirts now with just the Sharpie B written on it on a white t-shirt, and because a couple people in the audience were wearing it, and I think that's a great idea. I mean, most wrestling fans, they enjoy ridiculous stuff like that. If they didn't, Broken Matt Hardy would have never been a thing. So it's cool to see WWE capitalize on that. I like to see how far the B team can go as a comedy act. Right now, I'm enjoying them quite a bit. And then into the not so good on Monday Night Raw. And even though this was a thumbs middle show, I'd say there wasn't anything too bad on the show. If you don't mind the ridiculousness of Bobby Lashley and his sisters and the B team, there were a couple things on the show where just repetitive or kind of weird. And one of them was Baron Corbin against No Way Jose. No Way Jose. What can I say about this guy? He's like Adam Rose 2.0. From his entrance to his in-ring work to his corniness. The guy is just... He's an entrance. Really, that's it. Because as soon as that conga line goes away, so does the audience's enthusiasm. Because they were pretty dead for this match. Baron Corbin eventually won with the end of days. But I look at this, and I can't decide who is more dead when it comes to like world title aspirations. Baron Corbin or No Way Jose? And it seems like it would be an obvious answer. No Way Jose. I mean, he just lost to Corbin. Corbin's been in semi-main event roles before. He's former Mr. Money in the Bank. But when you go from being Mr. Money in the Bank to really having no direction on Monday Night Raw and just barely beating a guy like No Way Jose, then I don't really know much about Baron Corbin. I'm not a big Baron Corbin fan, to be honest. He's a little stale, but I don't know, he's just missing it. That intangible factor that makes some guys so good. Baron Corbin doesn't have that. He doesn't have that factor. He's decent in the ring. He's a good big guy. He always shines in multi-man matches, but he just doesn't have it for me. So kind of a meh match there. We also had, for like the 6th time in 5 weeks or something crazy like that, Elias against Bobby Roode. The audience was super into Elias. I like Elias too. And he even assaulted Bobby Roode while Bobby Roode was doing his glorious entrance. He assaulted him from behind. Bobby Roode rebounded, threw his robe in Elias's face. And these guys had a decent back and forth match. I was actually enjoying this match quite a bit. I shouldn't say this was bad, because this actually wasn't bad at all. And Elias eventually won with the drift away. And I was watching this match. I just want to see these guys on pay-per-view at this point. I really want to see these guys go 10 more minutes in this match, because they were brewing up to something nice. You don't see a lot of just grudge feuds like this in WWE. It's almost always over a title, or it's over nothing then. But yeah, these guys, they're both good in-ring performers. Elias won with the drift away, like I mentioned. And I'd like to see them get more time in the future, but I think maybe this might be the last match we see between them in a while, or for a while, since they've wrestled each other so much. And funny moment, as Elias was leaving and celebrating his victory, Braun Strowman just bowled over him. He bulldozered over Elias, and that's how Braun Strowman made his entrance for his match with Finn Balor, which is right afterwards. So funny stuff there. And we had a women's Money in the Bank qualifying match, Fatal 4-Way, Dana Brooke, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan against Natalya. They were all against each other, and Natalya eventually made Sarah Logan tap out to the sharpshooter, and that was basically that. Weird after-match promo with Charlie Caruso and Natalya, where she did the most awkward shoulder rub against, she like backed up her shoulders and rubbed it against Charlie Caruso. It was cringy as hell. You got to see it to believe it. For as good as an in-ring performer as Natalya is, there's just something about her on the microphone and her personality that's so damn cringy. I don't know what it is. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. Let me know if you like this new format more of me just kind of going the good, bad, and the ugly of Monday Night Raw instead of going in such a linear chronological order. In the comments or wherever else, I'll be posting this video on Reddit to get some more eyeballs on here, but also to get some more opinions. I do love talking about wrestling, but I also just love not only talking about it to myself in my room, but I like talking to other wrestling fans about it and getting their opinions and ideas and just having a fun time discussing something that we all love. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks for listening to this this episode of Willpower Wrestling, and I will catch you guys next time the bell rings here on Willpower Wrestling.